and welcome to LBPT TV, where I'm going to cook up some delicious and nutritious food again today. I am making some red quinoa and black bean Mexican burgers, which sound a bit naughty, but they're really good, full of lots of good things, and they're really delicious. So what we've got here is about 50 grams of red quinoa, half a tin of black beans, so I think about 120 grams or something, 100 grams, half an avocado, some jalapeno peppers, about 5 tablespoons of rice flour, some chipotle sauce or chipotle sauce. I always say chipotle, I'm not sure which is actually correct. 1 clove of garlic, about 400 mils of stock, 1 egg, and then I've also got here, this is a sweet potato bun which I made. You could use a brioche bun or a ciabatta or something. Okay, let's get started. I should also just mention that today's video is a bit of a family affair because baby Monty, has woken up quite early from his nap. He's not very happy because he's got bad teeth, his teeth coming through. So he is watching a bit of CBeebies in the kitchen with me, so you might hear the occasional squawk from him. Also, my lovely dog, Mr. Fidget, is around somewhere. Okay. Right, we're going to start off by rinsing the quinoa. It's really important that you do this because otherwise it has a really sort of bitter taste to it. I just rinse it under some cold water, just until you can see that there's nothing running out of it. So it doesn't take long at all, just a bit of a rinse to get rid of that bitter taste. Okay, then we're going to pop the hob on to a high heat and pop the stock in, the vegetable stock in there, into a pan. You can cook the quinoa just in water or in whatever stock you like. I just think adding a bit of stock gives it a bit more flavour than just water, which is quite nice. So we're just going to let that come up to the boil. I'll just grab a lid. So we'll just let that water come to the boil and then we'll add the quinoa. And quinoa is really good for you because it's a grain and it's quite high in protein. So it's a great thing to eat, really, if you're not, I'm not vegetarian, but if you are vegetarian, it's a good way of getting some protein. Okay, so this is now boiling, as you can see. So we're just going to pop the quinoa in. Now this is where it makes a big splash, usually. I actually managed to do that without making too much mess, which is pretty impressive. There we go. We'll give it a little bit of a stir, and then we're just going to pop the lid back on. And it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to cook the quinoa, but keep an eye on it. I'm just turning the heat right down. I'm just going to leave that lid slightly off just so it doesn't boil over. But do keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't boil dry. That's baby Monty there. So we're just going to leave that to cook now. Okay, so once the quinoa is cooked, we're just going to tip the black beans in with the quinoa, mix them all together. Then it's just a case of popping everything else in, really. So in with the jalapenos and the garlic, which is just finely chopped. We're going to put in a good 2 teaspoons full of the chipotle sauce. Obviously you can put more in if you like it. It can be quite spicy. And then our egg. In that goes. Give it a good mix now. I find it's good to use a fork actually because it really gets it mixed in well. And then once that's all mixed in well together, just pop in the flour and give it another good mix. That's just the egg and the flour just bind it all together. You could obviously use normal plain flour. I just try to avoid plain flour whenever possible. Give that a good mix in, and then in with the rest of the flour. It's smelling actually really delicious already. I'm very hungry, so I'm quite looking forward to eating this. Good. Then once that's all mixed in together, we'll divide it up. This here will make 2 or 3 burgers. There's quite a lot here, as you can see. So that's all nice and mixed in now. So then we're just going to divide it into the patties or the burgers. Okay, so we'll just divide this up into a couple of burgers. Obviously make sure you've got clean hands for this, but there's no other way to do it than just get your hands in there. Just, yeah, you can see, just shape them into a sort of burger shape. I think this is going to make 3. I've got enough here for 3, definitely. You don't want them too big because otherwise they won't cook properly or they'll take ages to cook. So shape those into a sort of burger shape. It's a bit mucky. Pop them on a plate, and then what you want to do is, once you've made all 3 of them, I'm just going to pop them into the fridge to chill, ideally for at least half an hour, because it'll just help them to set together, which will help when you cook them. So there we go, that's our 3. All done there, and I'm just going to pop them in the fridge. Okay, so once your burgers have chilled for about half an hour, you're just going to cook them. I'm just using a little bit of coconut oil here, just to pop in a frying pan. So I am actually only going to do the full preparation with 1 whole burger, because I've only got 1 bun. But I'm going to cook all 3 now. So I want to reason it sort of medium to high heat so that they do cook through well. Okay, there we go. We're just going to pop them in now. So you just want to cook them probably for about 4 minutes on each side, till you know that they're cooked through and they're nice and sort of crispy on the outside. And then we'll prep our actual bun and everything and be ready to tuck in. So these are pretty much cooked through now. There, you can see they're nice and golden on each side. So I'm going to turn the heat off and pop the grill on and get our buns prepped. I'm going to take 2 of those out. These can actually go away for later, these 2. And with this one, what I didn't say earlier actually is that I'm going to add a bit of mozzarella onto the top. So I'll pop this under the grill here, and then at the same time I'm just going to pop my bun in the toaster. So my bun is now toasted, and I think my mozzarella is just melting. So in the meantime I'm just going to prep this bun. So I'm going to use a bit of this avocado, you don't need it all, just scoop out a bit to go on the bottom, on the peel of your bun, that's what you call it, isn't it? I'm going to do a video at some point for these buns because they are really super yummy, but for now you'll have to just make something up. So that's on there. I'm also going to add just a bit of spinach just to give some greenery in there. You could put some rocket in or leave it as it is, whatever you fancy. And this is ready now, so I'm just going to take this out. Yeah, that mozzarella's nice and melted. Pop that on there. This is going to be delicious. And there we go. Voila!